Okay, so if you are attending the lesson today, it's quite likely that you either work in human resources or maybe entering an interview process for seeking employment. Or maybe you're just looking for some tips on English interview language. So, whatever your situation is, we have some key vocabulary and expressions to help you reach your objective. Okay, well, let's get started. I'm going to bring up our first slide. Here we go. So our agenda for today's conference lesson is our introduction. Number 2, vocabulary and expressions. Number 3, strategies for selecting candidates. And number 4, interview questions and response strategies. So let's start with our introduction. Number 1. Why is English important in the international recruitment field? Well, there are 3 reasons on this screen. Number 1, English is crucial in an international recruitment as it serves as the global communication bridge. It is commonly accepted at this moment that English is a universal language and spoken throughout the globe. Number 2, it enables recruiters to access a diverse talent pool, making it easier to find the right candidates. Okay, that means if we can speak to more people, we could get a better candidate for the job that we are trying to fill. Number 3, it's essential in international business, supports cross-cultural competence, and facilitates global networking. So all of these are great reasons why English is important in the international recruitment sector. Okay, so in order to understand this in a more practical way, I'm going to give you an example of how this has affected how I have had to work in the past. Now, when I first moved to France, I was a hotel manager, and the hotel that I managed was in a ski resort. And this was somewhere where people wanted to come and work from all over the world. So the process that I had, it started with emails, and I would get emails from people all over the world. And the common factor in all of these emails is they were written to me in English. These people from Japan, from Australia, from Canada, and in Europe as well, Romania, Italy, Spain, Portugal. And all of these people contacted me in English. And the whole process leading up to their employment was conducted in English. So it is a very practical thing and something that we want to focus on. So we're going to continue now with some vocabulary and expressions. Okay, so this is our first vocabulary screen. Okay, so let's have a look at these words. Number 1, accountant, product manager, electrical engineer, legal counsel, operations manager, web developer, administrative assistant, teacher, a research scientist, business development manager. Okay, so that's our first screen of job vocabulary. These are all different types of job. Some may be relevant to you, some may not. Let's have a look at a second screen of vocabulary for jobs. Okay, so let's run through this screen too. Number 1, project manager, software engineer, marketing manager, sales representative, financial analyst, human resource specialist, registered nurse, graphic designer, data analyst, customer service representative. Okay, well, we're now going to have a look at some more vocabulary and a few of those vocabulary words in just a bit more detail. So, for example, we talked about one of those jobs, legal counsel. So this would be a lawyer and a professional who provides legal guidance, advice and representation to individuals, organizations or businesses. Their role is to offer expert legal counsel and ensure that their clients understand and comply with the law. Now, the second job we've highlighted with some extra definition is operations manager. This person is responsible for overseeing and coordinating the daily activities and process within an organization to ensure the efficiency, productivity, and compliance with established policies and procedures. Okay. Now, the third job that we have focused on here is a software engineer. Now, this is a professional who designs, develops, tests, and maintains computer software applications. Okay, so that's a highlight of some of those job roles. Now let's continue. So the next part is to look at vocabulary for qualifications. When we look on CVs or when we write our CV, we want to list our qualifications. Now, these are some in English to look at today. So number 1, a bachelor's degree from university. So this is what is a BA course and is usually a 3-year course, the first 3 years at university. Number 2 is a master's degree. This is usually a 1 or 2 year course that follows on from the bachelor's degree. The third is the PhD. This is also a university degree. It's also known as a doctorate and is the highest level of a university degree. Usually people who get a PhD are then able to go on and teach at universities. It's a very high level. Now, number 4 is a professional certification from a college. Now, in English, a college is not a school. It's another form of tertiary education. So another form of the third level of education. And a college is somewhere someone goes to get a professional qualification. Okay. And they will receive certification to show that they are able to work in that field. Number 5, years of relevant work experience. So number 6, specific technical skills. For example, programming languages, software proficiency. Number 7, industry-specific qualifications. For example, a nursing license or a teaching certificate. Number 8, language proficiency. For example, fluency in English or other required languages. And of course, there are qualifications or exams and tests we can do to level our English and our languages that we can put onto CVs. Number 9, hard skills. For example, programming and coding, data analysis, etc. Okay, well, we're going to look at hard skills in a moment. Number 10, soft skills. For example, communication, problem solving, and leadership. Okay, well, we're going to continue on the next slide to look at hard skills and soft skills. Okay, so we're going to focus on those two aspects of that vocabulary list. So what are hard skills? Hard skills are specific, teachable, and measurable abilities or knowledge. They are tangible and typically include technical skills such as programming, data analysis, or foreign language proficiency, something that can be graded. Number 2, soft skills. These are interpersonal and personal attributes that relate to an individual's communication, social, and emotional abilities. They are not typically quantifiable and include traits such as teamwork and communication. Okay, but they're not graded like hard skills. And to evaluate a candidate's soft skills, we need to be able to interview them correctly. Okay, well, let us continue. Okay, so this is called expressions. Can you write a sentence in the chat that uses one of these? So what I'd like you to do is to read through these job descriptions. Okay, now I'm going to read through them as well, but please start to read through. So these are all job descriptions. Number 1, essential duties and responsibilities. Number 2, job requirements. Number 3, qualifications and skills. Number 4, job duties and tasks. Number 5, position summary. Number 6, collaborate with teams. Number 7, job location. And number 8, performance expectations. So if we're going to write a job description, we can use these expressions to communicate the job description and the roles that are required. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to write it in the chat for you to see. So I'm going to use number 1 and say the essential duties and responsibilities of this job role are to ensure the safety of our clients. So I've taken the expression essential duties and responsibilities and I've put it into a complete sentence which helps someone understand the job role. It helps describe the job. So what I'd like you guys to do, if you can, is to choose one of those and to write a sentence for me in the chat that uses one. I shall give you a few moments to do this. While you are planning your sentence, I'm going to read through the job descriptions again. So Number 1, essential duties and responsibilities. Number 2, job requirements. Number 3, qualifications and skills. Number 4, job duties and tasks. Number 5, position summary. Number 6, collaborate with teams. Number 7, job location. Number 8, performance expectations. Now, there is just a few of us today, so if you would rather turn off your microphone and express this in a sentence, I'm happy for you to do that, or you can write it in the chat, or if you don't want to do either, that's okay as well. So it's really up to you. Chiara first. Chiara, would you like to respond to one of these?
Yes, the job requirements for the position are to can collaborate with teams and to do technical analysis.
Requirements for
for me, I choose two.
okay.
The requirements for the job role are to be able to program using Python language and analyze data.
Okay, fantastic. Well, very nicely done. Very, very competent. Okay. Well, the interesting thing about this is, yes, we can communicate that, but quite often we have to write these things down. But because we need to express that job role, usually people read them. But that's fantastic. Well done, guys. Okay, well, we're going to continue. I have another exercise for us to do, so more interaction. But to start with, it's just to have a look. Okay, so we have another interactive exercise. Now, we want to match expressions to their meaning. Okay, so we've got two columns here. On the left, we've got expressions that are used during the hiring process. And on the right, we have another column with the meaning for these. But at the moment, they're not in the right place. Okay, so number 1 does not match letter A. So what I'd like you to do, we're going to read through the expressions and then the meanings. By all means, you can start to read through now. I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to read them out as well. But we then want to try to match the expressions with the meaning. So I'm going to read through the expressions first. So number 1, review applications. Number 2, shortlist the candidates. Number 3, check their references. Number 4, conduct background checks. Number 5, negotiate salary and benefits. Number 6, screen resumes. Number 7, conduct interviews. Number 8, extend an offer. Okay, so these are all language expressions during the hiring process. They're not necessarily in order, but each of them are explained by one of these meanings on the right. So these are the meanings. A, initial resume evaluation. B, assess submitted job applications. C, formal job offer. D, contact previous employers. E, investigate candidate's history. F, discuss compensation terms. G, assess candidate suitability in person. And H, select top applicants. Okay, so what I'd like to do, I'm going to give you a few more moments to try and match these up. Okay. So what I'd like to do is, I'm not going to ask you to write them all in the chat, but I am interested to see if we understand these. So what I'm going to do is ask each of you in turn to write the answer in the chat if you can. If you can't, just give me a thumbs down. I don't mind. It's not to put anyone in a situation they don't want to be in, of course. So Chiara, I'm going to start with you. The first one is review applications. So which letter do you think that is? Can you write that in the chat, number one? What do you think?
I have some doubts
Okay.
about it. Um,
Okay.
investigate candidates' history.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to reveal the right answers at the moment. Okay. But
Okay.
Sandrine, what do you think for number two? Shortlist the candidates.
H, select top applicants.
Okay. And Chiara, number three, check their references.
Hmm. Assess submitted the job application.
Okay. And we're going to go to number four, Sandrine, conduct background checks.
I think it's E, investigate candidates' history.
Okay. And number six, Chiara, screen resumes.
No, 5, no?
Oh, sorry. Yes, thank you. No, we're not interested in salary. No one wants that. Okay, so number five.
The less important.
Yeah, exactly. Who cares about money? Okay, so let's go to number five. Thank you, Sandrine. So number five, Chiara, negotiate salary and benefits.
F, discuss compensation terms.
Okay, and Sandrine, I know you wanted number six. Here it is. So screen resumes. Which do you think this relates to?
I don't know.
Okay, and number eight, Chiara, extend an offer.
Extend an offer.
And 7, no?
Formal job offer.
Okay, and Sandrine, number seven.
Yeah. Conduct interviews. Assess candidates' suitability in person.
Okay. Well, let's reveal these. So there we are. We had some correct answers and some incorrect answers. But here they are. I'm going to read through these for us. So number one, review applications to assess the submitted job applications. Okay. Number two, shortlist candidates. Okay, to select the top applicants. So we might have a lot of different applicants. We can't interview them all. We need to choose what we think are the top applicants and put them on our shortlist. We shortlist the candidates. Number three, check references. And this means to contact previous employers to check A, that they worked there to start with, and B, any other information that they wrote on their CV that relates to that period of employment. Number four, conduct background checks. So There are other job roles that require background checks. Perhaps a job role requires a criminal record check. Perhaps some other kind of check into the applicant's history, and this is a background check. Number 5, the most important, to negotiate salary and benefits, to discuss compensation terms. So yes, it could be money, it could be insurance, it could be a company car, it could be the amount of holiday, that kind of thing. Number 6, screen resume. So this is the initial resume evaluation. If we advertise for a job role, we may get a lot of CVs emailed to us, and we need to screen them during an initial resume evaluation and look for keywords and expressions that we are going to look at in the next exercise. Number 7, conduct interviews to assess the candidate's suitability in person, whether it's like this in an audio-visual situation, whether it's physically in person, very old-fashioned these days, but still quite popular. And I remember even conducting initial interviews on the telephone. So it can happen. It does still happen. Okay. And number 8, extend an offer. So a formal job offer. And of course, we use the word offer in English as something that can be refused. So we can offer a job, but it can be refused as well. Okay. Does anyone have any questions relating to those expressions? No? Okay, well, let us continue. We've got a few more bits to get through. So strategies for selecting candidates. A, screening applications. Okay, so how do interviewers identify key skills and qualifications from resumes and covering letters? So number 1, scanning for keywords. So interviewers look for a specific keyword or keywords and phrases that match the job requirements. A second key skill to identify are quantifiable achievements. For example, if a candidate states that they increase sales by 20%, it shows a measurable result. Now, at the bottom, it's quite hard to read, but at the bottom we have a good example of good skills that we might see on a CV or resume. Excellent interpersonal skills demonstrated by communicating with clients, colleagues, and non-technical professionals on a daily basis. Expert knowledge of a variety of programming languages, including Java, Python, C, JavaScript, PHP, and SQL. Able to work individually without direct supervision and also as a dedicated member of a technical team whenever required. Outstanding software testing and troubleshooting skills. So all of these contain language that relates to good skills. So good things that we can look for on resumes. There are other things to look for. Relevant work experience, education and certifications, accomplishments. These demonstrate key skills and expertise. Alignment with company culture. Their experience aligns with the company's values and culture. Is the candidate a right fit for the company? And the last one there, covering letter. The candidate's motivation, career goals, and a more personal connection to their qualifications. Okay, well, the interview process. So preparing the interview. Okay, now, not so much language here. We'll just read through this. Interview format. Okay, so this relates to the format of the interview. Is it a one-on-one or a panel interview, for example? Number 2, develop questions. So we want to create a list of interview questions tailored to the job requirements. Of course we do. Number 3, scorecards or evaluation criteria. So this language relates to how we can prepare in advance for an interview with someone, where we create a scorecard so we can literally tick off these. So those are scorecards that we may use during an interview. So conducting the interview, yes, there are 2 types of questions, of course, behavioral questions and technical questions. Okay, so behavioral questions ask candidates to provide specific examples of their past experiences. And technical questions, of course, relate to questions that are technical, that require specific knowledge. Okay. Now, if you are in an interview process, there is in English, if you are, an interviewee, if you are looking for a job, there is this technique which is in English. It's called the STAR interview technique. It's an acronym, STAR, and it stands for situation, task, action, and result. Okay, now S relates to situation, so we think about describing the situation that you were in. T, think of a task. Okay, describe the task you had to do. A is for action. You can then go on to describe the action you took to complete the task that you had. And R is for the result, and we can then describe the outcome of your actions. So this is an English acronym for a technique to employ if you are being interviewed for a job. Okay. So let's have a look at some of these interview questions and response strategies. Okay, so this screen, it doesn't relate too much to language, more about interview technique, which is not something we really need to focus on particularly. You can go back and have a look at this in the video afterwards, but I don't want to dwell on this because it doesn't talk too much about English language for the interview process, more on interview technique. However, common interview questions, now this has relatable language. So we're going to read through these. So number 1, for example, tell me about yourself. What a classic interview question. An open-ended opportunity for candidates to provide an overview of their background. Number 2, another classic. What are your strengths and weaknesses? A candidate's self-awareness and ability to reflect on their skills and areas for improvement. Number 3, why do you want to work for this company? Interviewers ask this question to evaluate a candidate's research on the company. Number 4, what would you do about improving our training structures within the company? So this is a hypothetical condition that asks the candidate to think about what they can do to improve something in the future if they had the job. So a few more here. We've got some more common interview questions in English language. So number 1, can you describe a time when you faced a challenge and how you handled it? Behavioral question that seeks to understand a candidate's problem-solving abilities, adaptability, and past experience. Number 2 here, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So another classic question. This question helps assess a candidate's career goals and ambitions, and it will help to see if their ambitions align with your requirements. Number 3, and the last question here. Do you have any questions for us? So this question is typically asked at the very end of the interview and gives candidates an opportunity to demonstrate their interests. Okay, guys, well, there we are. We've moved through the 4 areas for today's conference lesson. And we have finished. There we are. So on the screen here, we have some specific Cercle des Langues modules in the e-learning platform that relate to the interview process. And we also have some articles from the CDL blog there as well. Well, we have come to the end of today's conference lesson. I was very happy that you were both able to engage during the lesson as well. It's not something that's always possible, but that was great today. So thank you for that. Do either of you have any questions before we finish today?
No? Any question for me?
No? Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Sandrine.
Alistair.
Thank you, Chiara.
Thank you very much, Alistair.
It was a pleasure to attend your classes.
Thank you very much. Okay, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Have a great evening. See you next time, I hope. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.